everyone, it's Bug-Eye Manny back at you again with a brand new video, and today I am doing a new review, yes, a new review, for Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Now this film came out in 1983. It was not directed by George Lucas, however, you kind of feel like it did have more of an impact from George Lucas. The Empire Strikes Back felt like it was a completely different film, but this movie felt kind of like the prequels. We were introduced to Ewoks. Stupid scenes like the dance scene. Hold on, let me prop my phone up a little bit better. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. You know, that stupid dance scene in Jabba's palace. Horrible scene, and I think my phone's going down again, unfortunately. Is it? I don't know. That stupid scene in Jabba's palace, and the dialogue does not feel as natural as it did in the other two movies, you know, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. I don't know why. It doesn't feel natural. It just doesn't have that classic comedic style that it had in the Episode 4 and Episode 5, you know. This movie kind of sometimes feels like it's a movie, you know. It kind of feels like it's being written. The other two movies felt natural. Most of the time, the way they spoke felt like real people speaking. Sometimes in this movie, it feels kind of like they're reading from a script. And, you know, sometimes that's all right, but I don't know. This is definitely the weakest film of the original trilogy. It introduced, of course, the Ewoks. Not just the Ewoks, it spent a lot of time focusing on too many places, like Jabba's palace. Now, Jabba's palace, don't get me wrong, is a very, very cool, gritty, disgusting place. The puppet, Jabba, is flawless. I mean, this puppet that they created for Jabba the Hutt is fantastic. All of the creatures look amazing. However, some do look a little bit cartoony, which remind me of the prequels, kind of like, for example, the elephant guy that covers his face. Very cartoony and childish. So you get that prequel vibe in this film. And I really feel like Harrison Ford, in a way, ruined this movie. He originally was thinking about not coming back for Return of the Jedi. That is why they froze him in carbonite in Episode 5. So if he did not come back, they could just kill him off. However, he did come back. So now, what are we going to do? How are we going to get Han back? Well, they have to set up this big story to get Han back, and it just, in a way, feels out of place, and it could have been cut a lot in the film. And the plan, the rescue plan, has no, it's just all over the place. It has no, there's just no reality to it, you know? What Luke is doing, what he's going to do is insane. He doesn't come with a lightsaber. He could have killed all of them, but he doesn't bring his lightsaber. It is packed in R2. Why did he send C-3PO and R2 to Jabba? And what if Jabba just blew them up right there? Then the whole plan would have been over. Dun, 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 dun. It's just a stupid plan. However, like I said, I think this is still a fun movie. The sounds in this film are still flawless. John Williams' score is amazing in this movie. This is a much darker looking film compared to the fourth and fifth. I don't know why. It might be the director, which is alright, you know, which is fine. But, yeah, so let's talk about, you know, the effects as well. The effects are not as good as Episode 4 and 5. There's a lot of green screen in some scenes where you can see behind them the black, you know, around them. And it's very noticeable. There's some also effects that are cheap, kind of. The matinee paintings in this movie are definitely noticeable. And the other two films, they blended seamlessly into the background. In this film, you can really notice some of these matinee paintings, and you can just tell that the effects are not as good as 4 and 5. However, they still are really, really good. And the big scene with probably the best effects out of the original trilogy has to be the space battle. This scene is amazing. They got so many models on screen battling each other. It felt like something out of Star Wars today. And I'm talking, yeah, I'm not bashing the original trilogy. You know, the original trilogy, they have the original trilogy has the best battles. But I'm just talking about the stuff they have in the battles. Feels like something today. All of the stuff. This battle is fantastic. There's ships everywhere. There's explosions. The sound is flawless. It is amazing. It is jaw-dropping, and it is something you won't see in any other movie. Another thing I really enjoy is the speeder bike chase. Now, the effects on the speeder bike chase are pretty dated nowadays because of the green screen, but I try to pretend that that it's not a green screen. Sorry, I'm very sick. I pretend that it's not a green screen, but instead that they're in the forest. If you pretend that they're in the forest, it can be a very, very fun, entertaining scene. Another thing I like about this film is Darth Vader. I feel like this film really connects the prequels perfectly. This is the film where Darth Vader turns back into Anakin Skywalker, and I think this is just flawless. Him turning back into Anakin Skywalker. I really enjoyed the confrontation between Luke and Vader in the whole entire film. It felt awesome and it gave me goosebumps. Now this is where the movie shines. I really enjoy Luke and Vader talking together, father and son, and eventually Vader betraying the Emperor and killing the Emperor. Ian McDiarmid as well as the Emperor is fantastic. He is great. I'm going to talk more about him in my prequel reviews, but my God, is Ian McDiarmid awesome as Chancellor Palpatine, the Emperor. He is amazing. Let's also talk about Luke in this film. Luke is much more mature. He's basically a Jedi now. And it's really cool to see him go from a farm boy to a reckless kid to a mature Jedi. He still has a lot to learn, but he is much more there. He knows what's going on most of the time. He's wiser, and it's really cool to watch Mark Hamill betray Luke this way. He's not taking, any bull crap from people this time. However, there are some stupid things, like in the end of the film, near the end, where he throws down his lightsaber, and he's like, "You failed, Your Highness." He could have killed the Emperor right there. What if the Emperor never died? Luke basically destroyed the whole galaxy because of that stupid mistake. He threw his lightsaber down. That is a stupid thing. He killed basically his whole friends if the Emperor never died. His friends basically are dead now because of him. But thankfully the Emperor does die. So those are some of the flaws. Some other scenes, Leia and Luke talking on Endor. Like I said, you can tell they're kind of reading from a script in this scene. The other two films, they feel natural. This scene, however, does not. Han Solo, by the way, is completely wasted in this film. He is much more toned down, a sweeter guy. I miss the tough Han that we saw in episode 4 and 5. He was really, really fun. In this movie, he's boring. He's just all, I'm a good guy. I'm written as a good guy now. I still like Harrison Ford as Han Solo, but I don't know. I just feel like everything was ruined because of Harrison Ford coming back at the last minute and the director not wanting to kill him off. I really think the film would have been much better if Harrison Ford died in the movie. It would have made Han a better character, but unfortunately it did not kill Han off. You can kind of feel like Han was meant to die because of the way he acted in the film. He acted all sweet and nice, and that would have made us, sadder when Han died, but unfortunately he does not die, and it just feels weird. It just comes off as weird, Han's talking all sweet, and he's really toned down in this movie. But let's talk about everything. Everything else is great. I enjoy, the droids, C-3PO and R2 are great as well. Han Solo. Oh yeah, the cell barge assault scene is awesome, where Luke is fighting on the cell barge. Oh yeah, Boba Fett. Boba Fett is a totally wasted character in this film. It's really disgusting how they just kill Boba Fett off like that. It's pretty sad to Boba Fett fans out there. It really is. What else do I like? Oh yeah, Luke's green lightsaber is fantastic. And I am not going to lie, I enjoy the special edition change at the end with the music. Da, 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 da. But I hate Hayden Christensen as the ghost. It is disgusting. But regardless, Return of the Jedi is a great film when it comes to special effects. And I feel like Vader, his story, and Luke's story shines the best in this movie. I love the space battle. I love the effects, like the indoor battle, with the little chicken walkers. I think that was great as well. The effects are amazing. But it's just not as good as episode 4 and 5. The story is just not there like it was in episode 4 and 5. The writing is just, it feels like writing in this movie, when in comparison to episode 4 and 5, that felt like real people talking. This film has that, but it's more toned down, and it feels like people are reading from a script half the time. The Ewoks could have been written out. They should have had Wookiees in this film. Jabba's palace lasted way too long. The Ewok night scene where they're there talking about the last movies, episode 4 and 5, felt really childish and more like something from the Ewok movie. It just did not feel like Star Wars. It did not feel right. I don't know. It just felt out of there, out of place, and they could have cut all of that out. But Vader and Luke's story is awesome. Princess Leia, and seeing all these characters again is really awesome. Then finally defeating the Empire is awesome. I really enjoyed the defeat of the Empire. Darth Vader redeeming himself. The Emperor finally dying. I thought all of that was awesome. The music is awesome. The effects are awesome. The music, everything is awesome. The sounds are awesome. But it does struggle from some script scenes. Some strict script problems. A little bit too much time on some of these places. Jabba's palace, one of them, and Ewok, two of them. And the writing's just not as good as it was. And the Ewoks could have been cut out completely. So what do I rate this film? I rate this movie a B-. I still love this movie way better than the prequels in my personal opinion. Some people hate this movie, but I like it. I give it a B-. Worst one of the original trilogy, but I enjoy it. Next, I will be reviewing The Phantom Menace. Bye everyone. Bug-Eye Manny signing out.